On your mark and get set for the Paw Power Challenge. It's an obstacle course fun run for owners and their best friends, and it was held earlier this week in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. Almost 200 dogs and their human companions participated in an event whose founder says it was important to get in before the weather gets too hot in the Middle Eastern country. Racers had to find ways to get over bales of hay, under low platforms, down a slide, across various terrain, and through a fountain, going the distance on a 1.5-mile-long course. It's fun to do and fun to watch, but one participant said it's also about keeping owners and their animals healthy. The challenge proved to be a success. One racer said some didn't think they'd be able to finish, but that everybody on 2 or 4 legs did. We're guessing the more petite pups slept especially well that night, though all of them were undoubtedly dog-tired. An American biotechnology company says it has successfully de-extincted an animal and that this is the first time that's ever been done. But there's some disagreement and debate about that in the scientific community, and that's what's next on today's show. I'm Carl Azuz. This is The World from A to Z. Colossal Biosciences is the name of the biotech and genetic engineering company. It's based in Texas. It's trying to de-extinct or bring back animal species that are long gone, like the dodo bird, the Tasmanian tiger, the woolly mammoth. Colossal says it's actually done that with this, a species it calls the dire wolf. It's believed to have roamed around North and South America thousands of years ago before going extinct. The biosciences company says it took DNA from an ancient tooth and a 72,000-year-old skull and made healthy dire wolf puppies. And Time magazine calls these animals the first of their kind to exist in more than 10,000 years. But that's the part that's controversial. Colossal says it took the dire wolf's genetic information and used it to alter the cells of gray wolves, which exist today as the dire wolf's closest living relative. Researchers put the genetically modified information into donor eggs and used large dogs to carry them. 2 pups were born last October and 1 was born in January. A genomics professor told CNN that the new pups are 99.9% gray wolf, but that they carry genes from the extinct dire wolf. And that was echoed by a paleontologist who told the BBC that the new animal is a hybrid, a gray wolf with a bigger skull and white fur, but that extinction is still forever because ancient DNA is too damaged to actually copy in its entirety. So this appears to come down to how scientists define de-extinction. Is it actually bringing back a species that's gone forever, or is it creating new animals with similar characteristics to extinct species? That's one big question hovering over 3 unique animals that are now roaming a secret fenced-off area.
Where in the world? Now a republic, this nation was originally a kingdom when it achieved independence in 1932. It's located in the Middle East, between Syria and Iran. Its capital is Baghdad.
This is Iraq, a nation of 47 million people.
On this date in world history. On April 9, 2003, U.S. Marines and Iraqis toppled a statue of Saddam Hussein in the Iraqi capital of Baghdad. It symbolized the end of the Iraqi leader's regime and happened less than a month after a U.S.-led coalition of countries attacked the Middle Eastern nation. Hussein himself was captured in December of 2003, but the conflict in Iraq would continue for years afterward. On this date in 1865, Confederate General Robert E. Lee surrendered to Union General Ulysses S. Grant in Appomattox, Virginia. It marked the beginning of the end of the American Civil War, though sporadic fighting went on for months until hostilities formally ended. And audio recording history was made on April 9, 1860. A French inventor named Edouard-Leon de Martinville used something called a phonautograph to record himself singing a folk song. It couldn't be played back at the time, but his device was the first that could record vibrations of sound onto a surface.
Word of knowledge. What is the name of the world's largest cruise ship? MSC World Europe, Icon of the Seas, Carnival Celebration, Royal Princess. Weighing more than 248,000 gross tons is Royal Caribbean's Icon of the Seas.
But it's container ships, the giant cargo box carrying behemoths, that are the focus of our next story. The World Shipping Council, a US-based trade association, says 221 shipping containers were lost at sea in 2023, and about a third of them were recovered. It's not a significant percentage of the hundreds of millions of containers that were transported. But how does that happen, and what is done about the lost containers?
Estimates are that some 80% of goods and raw materials are transported at some point by water.
These boxes have revolutionized world trade.
The large metal containers are easy to pack and load onto ships. Just stack them up like Legos. Some 250 million containers were moved last year using shipping vessels, but many containers don't make it to their intended destination. A single box, or hundreds at a time, can be lost in rough seas. More than 20,000 containers have tumbled overboard in the last 15 or so years. And ship capacities have doubled in the last 2 decades. And with greater size brings heightened risks. They're more difficult to maneuver and more prone to rolling in high waves. Experts disagree on how many containers have actually been lost, because there are no penalties for ship operators if they don't report losses publicly. Many are left where they land when they do go overboard, like this one, which ended up in Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary in 2004. Sometimes the contents of a container will make its way back to land. Russ Lewis picks up trash along the Washington state coast.
That's definitely a container spill when you find more of the same thing more than once. If you find it 3 or 4 times, that kind of strikes me as container spill material.
He's seen lots of bicycle helmets, balls, and Crocs, all from a container spill off the Hawaiian Islands in 2020, carried by currents to his beaches over the years. The oceans and seas of Earth follow generally consistent currents, and in some cases, scientists have actually made the best of spills to help track these currents. Now, a wayward container affects the water flow as well as the sediment wherever it lands, and its presence completely alters the microecosystem around it.
We got a problem on the surface, but I think the bigger problem is what's on the seafloor. And they're found in the 7 seas. Anything floating out in the ocean, they will attach.
Many containers contain goods that have substances which are toxic to marine life. 2 global ocean treaties were amended to try and increase transparency about lost shipping containers. Changes are expected to take effect in 2026, but they have no enforceable penalties, so it remains to be seen if shipping operators will actually be held accountable. The long-term impact of lost containers on the world's oceans remains unknown.
We're gonna saddle up and ride with the Mustangs today. That's the mascot of Kennesaw Mountain High School. Big hello to the students and teachers watching from Kennesaw, Georgia, the Peach State. Next stop's in the land of 10,000 lakes, where we see Mr. Lushik's class at Cottage Grove Middle School. The city of Cottage Grove is in Minnesota. And we've got some Tigers with us from Farmington, New Hampshire. Miss Ledoux's class is in the Granite State at Henry Wilson Memorial School. A Norwegian soccer team has a unique tradition, well actually a number of them, that stay true to the club's roots. Brenna FK awards its players of the match with eggs and milk. Oh, it also has a parking lot for tractors. Brenna is in an agricultural community of the southwestern part of Norway. Population 13,000. Even though its soccer team now plays in the second highest level of Norway's system, it's been nicknamed the Farmers League, and Brenna embraces that, even giving eggs to a team it played against. Maybe they're just trying to egg them on, steam them up, or scramble their minds. Maybe poach a new player, sous feed them deceptive tactics, or attempt to win them over easy with their heads in the cloud before a hard-boiled match. No matter who the yolk's on or who gets egg on their face, Brenna's walking on the sunny side. I'm Carl Azuz, excited to have you watching the world from A to Z. We'll cook up a new show for you tomorrow. You mean the world to me.